Hi. This is the tale of Manila Film Center. Welcome to the second episode of Creepy Abandoned Places in the Philippines series. Join us as we dive to the frozen in time mysteries. Before we begin, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to be updated with our latest video. Now, let's get into our story. The Manila Film Center is a national building located at the southwest end of the Cultural Center of the Philippines complex in Pasay, Philippines. The structure was designed by architect Froilan Hong, where its edifice is supported on more than 900 piles, which reaches to the bedrock about 120 feet below. Prior to the Manila Film Center, the Philippines did not have an official national film archive. In 1981, First Lady Imelda Marcos wanted her ambition realized. And, at that time, whatever she wanted, she got. Like when she wanted a spectacular theater to host the Miss Universe pageant 1974. The Folk Arts Theater, designed by national artist for architecture, Leandro Locsin, was completed in a record of 77 days. Among the Film Center's project components were the 360-degree theater, to show past and present, historical and tourism scenes, for future generations. The film financing loan program, to address funding of meritable films. The Filipino film archiving using digital storage, though was little known during those times. Film database, information system. Filmmaking and blow-up laboratory. Viewing rooms for the Board of Censors and other minor subcomponents. Despite the futuristic and concept creativity, only 2 of the project components were actually done. UNESCO's assistance was invaluable in the design of the archives, so they were asked to be consultants of the project. Several ocular visits were done by UNESCO in 1981, where they were responsible for major consultations needed in the structure's erection. The building was then designed to have 2 components, which were the auditoria and archives. According to Hong, the foundation was set on reclaimed land, near Manila Bay. Since the deadline of the structure was tight, it required 4,000 workers, working in 3 shifts, across 24 hours. 1,000 workers constructed the lobby in 72 hours. A job which would normally entail 6 weeks of labor. The Film Center opened in 1982, costing an estimate of $25 million. On November 17, 1981, at around 3 a.m., scaffolding on the 4th floor collapsed, and workers were trapped in the quick-drying cement. The problem started when quick-drying cement was poured on each floor without waiting for the layers to dry. Due to the rush and the endless hours of working, too much was poured, resulting in the disaster. Nana Benigno, former public relations officer for the Experimental Cinema of the Philippines and the Manila International Film Festival, saw the immediate aftermath of the accident.
From a distance I could see people in stretchers being carried out, frozen in cement. When I got there, they were still digging out people. The cement was not completely hard. And there was a guy that they were trying to keep from going into shock.
She said in an interview.
Half of his body was buried. He was alive, but half buried. I don't know what it was, but to keep him awake, alert, not to go into a coma or shock, they kept him singing Christmas songs. I was watching this.
She added. For fear that the accident would cause a scandal, there was a media blackout. Responders were only allowed access to the site 9 hours after the incident. By that time, at least 168 workers already died, or were buried in the cement, which already hardened. Jackhammers were employed, hours later. There was a gruesome view of bodies sticking out of the pavement. The exposed parts had to be tapered off and built over. The rule was they had to meet the deadline, no matter what happened. It was Betty Benitez, wife of Assistant Minister Jose Conrado Benitez, who apparently gave this order to continue construction, as if nothing had happened. The hauntings and strange happenings began that day. According to rumors, a fortune teller allegedly told first daughter, Amy Marcos, that she would die if she stepped foot in the building. Whether or not this was true, no effort was spared to cleanse the place. There were exorcism rites, pagan rites, Catholic rites, and Chinese rites. Officers were given anting-antings or amulets to ward off evil spirits. On the morning of the opening, January 18th, as early as 5 a.m., several Igorots performed another ritual, telling any lingering spirit that they must cross over to the afterlife. Pigs and chickens were killed for sacrifice, and those attending the ritual, including the anxious Amy, needed to consume them. Despite these efforts, those preparing for the festival had their share of strange experiences. The usherettes, who came from exclusive girls' schools, started smelling something odd backstage. Almost all of them felt something cold blowing on their skin. Their skin tingled at a strange presence. According to other stories, the deceased workers showed themselves to their colleagues or even to the guests. A few months later, Benitez died in a freak car accident. Many alleged that it was the victims taking revenge. A medium who was sent to Manila Film Center supposedly claimed that the spirits said, "Betty is with us." When the date of the festival finally arrived, the accident seemed forgotten. The cement was allegedly not completely dry. It didn't matter, international press raved about the event. Unbeknownst to the visitors, the wet cement was staining the hems of their clothes and the bottoms of their shoes. They were also stepping on the remains of hundreds of Filipino workers who were entombed in a cursed building. The Manila Film Center showed films from 39 countries, including Norway, New Zealand, India, Mexico, Egypt, Hungary, and Argentina. India's 36 Zhao Rai Lane won Best Picture. Lyum Lagurchenko and Bruno Lawrence were named Best Actress and Actor, respectively. Goran Markovic of Yugoslavia won Best Director for Magistry. By the festival's end, 30 Filipino films worth $500,000 were sold through distribution deals in West Germany, Malaysia, and France. One of them was a movie featuring Pinoy actor Weng Weng. Despite this success, a curse seemingly hung in the building and the festival itself. Moving forward, it suffered a financial setback. The $5 million subsidy allotted for the festival was disapproved by then Prime Minister Cesar Varata. So that the center could survive, Imelda created an agency that would later be the Movie and Television Review and Classification Board. As stated in Presidential Decree 1986, the board allowed films that were close to soft porn to be shown in the center. The law also exempted all films to be shown during the festival from censorship, opening wide the doors for pornography. Droves of men were said to have lined up, almost destroying the doors, for films like Virgin Forest. However, earnings from these films were not enough to pay for all the debts incurred. After the Marcoses were thrown out, Rustans took back all of its paintings and furniture. When the 1990 earthquake happened, the center was abandoned after it was declared unstable. It was rehabilitated for 300 million pesos and leased in December 2001 to Amazing Philippines theater producers of The Amazing Show. The amazing show's lease expired in 2009, and for a time, the Philippine Senate considered moving there, but this never happened. In November 2012, the Amazing Philippines Theater regained its lease, but another series of unexplainable accidents occurred. On February 19, 2013, a 3-hour fire caused damage, amounting to 1.2 million pesos, to the building. The building continues to be a source of inspiration for horror writers, and a destination for ghost hunters. For some, it was a reminder of a glorious time, when Filipino films took center stage. For others, it is a symbol of the Marcos dictatorship. But as it stands, the ghosts of Manila Film Center continue to live.